a conversation here. And now we're recording. But Amanda, you said you did a half marathon yesterday?
Yes, the Pasadena, or I guess they call it the Rose Bowl half marathon now.
Good
I did that
you.
yesterday. So
holy cow. I'm impressed.
I wouldn't be.
Hey, no, I am impressed. I say anything, it's just like that's what, 13 miles?
13.1.
Don't forget
don't forget that point one, because that's the worst part.
That probably is the worst
part.
Because you can see the finish line.
And you're like, I'm not done yet.
I'm not done yet. Good for you though. That's pretty impressive. Oh man. I was thinking about, should I sign up for a 5K? To walk, not to run.
I'm a walker, dude. I probably shouldn't. I will not tell you what I place, but it
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I finished.
Right.
All that matters is that I finished. But I'm totally a back of the packer. Like I always see them cleaning up behind me, and I'm like, oh.
No, okay. I did the what you call it, the Susan G. Komen walk, right? I did one of those, the San Diego one. And my sister did all of them. I mean, she did a ton of them. So she was like, Joel, come on, you got to do this with San Diego, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. And she had this like pride thing going about not getting swept, because if you go too slow, they sweep you.
Yeah, they do.
I was like, I got no pride. Come and sweep me. I got swept on the second day. I was just like, it's like 20 miles plus a day walking.
I didn't
train. That's a bit much.
I didn't train. I didn't do anything.
I am that person that keeps checking behind me, and they're like right behind me, and I'm like, ooh, walk a little faster.
Yep.
Walk a little faster. You got to get to a certain point. And when I hit that point, I was like, okay, I'm fine. They're not going to sweep me at this point. They're not sweeping me at this point. Yeah. But they're everybody else behind me, and there weren't that many behind me.
That 20 miles a day was a bit much. Okay. 2 books.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm exhausted just hearing the two of you talk.
Exactly. MLK birthday today. Thank you for joining us on a holiday. I appreciate you guys being here and giving us some great book recommendations again, because there's a lot of good stuff out there again this week. I'm going to say that probably every week now, but there really is a lot of good stuff coming. I've been reading stuff that's a little too far in the future, so I'm probably not going to talk about it quite yet. But we got some good events coming up. So anywho, it's going to go Tom, Gabe, Amanda. So Tom, take it away.
I will start. And like you said in your email, like book recommendations, no holiday on book recommendations. There's always more books to be read and talked about. So I'm going to start with Elizabeth George. Something to Hide. So this should need no introduction. Elizabeth George, 21st in the Detective Inspector Lindley series. I'm always amazed that she's this American writer, American woman who has carved out a place in history as one of the best British, writers of British procedurals in history, but she's one of the very best. The new book takes the characters, the aristocratic Lindley and the Detective Sergeant Barbara Havers, who is the more down-to-earth one of the pair, takes them into the North London Nigerian community. So she keeps these novels, that's what is good about a writer like Elizabeth George. She keeps them fresh. She keeps them contemporary. The real world issues of race and class intrude on the case, but never loses sight of the case. So instant bestseller, Elizabeth George, Something to Hide. If I don't have the actual book, but if I did, it'd be like, it's like, something like that, right?
They become doorstops. I mean, I'm not saying that.
No. In the very best sense, like you want to sink into this world. If you want to sink into this world, she takes you deep into that world. So, That's because
the one I'm reading, which is out in the future, which is a little bit of a thick one too, is I'm reading the Adriana Trigiani. Which is like over 400 pages, but it's one of those things. I think Elizabeth George is the same. Once you get into these characters, you want to keep going with them. So I get it. Okay, Sarita, I need to address your question because you've asked me a couple times on this, and Sarita's watching, and she wants us to do a books that changed our life segment. It's hard to do that though, and we've kind of talked about it. It's like some of them are such old books that I don't know the relevance.
Well, in what sense too? Like,
because a book I read when I was like 30 changed my book when I changed my life maybe when I was 30, but it has zero relevance right now. So I don't know. We've kind of talked about it, but so you might have to wait a little while on that one, Sarita, until we can kind of like.
That might could be down for that one though. I'm thinking about a couple things I could. Two books just jumped into my brain.
Well, maybe you should just tell one of them right now.
That's kind of the route I went with our best of books that impacted my life somehow. That was the kind of the route I took.
Right.
That you took on it. Yeah. So, okay, Sarita, we'll keep working on it. Okay, Gabe, you go.
But yeah, I would go back something like Siddhartha. Oddly,
yeah, exactly.
cliche.
See, that's what I was, or The Alchemist. Like The Alchemist was one of those books a long time ago. I don't know if I read The Alchemist right now though, if it would have the same impact on me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a tough one on me. Once the goat started talking, hasta la vista, baby. I have a hard time with the anthropomorphizing for some reason.
You didn't like the book of the Council of Animals then? That was a good book. I love that.
Even the one with the rabbit, Watership Down.
Oh well, and then my daughter Ishmael, she loved Ishmael. Oh my God, I was like ready to throw Ishmael across the room like halfway through.
But I loved Watership Down. My God.
I couldn't. My sister loved it. Deborah's got a copy. Everybody I know loved it. I was like, talking animals.
Yeah.
I'm mostly with you though.
Okay.
But which brings me.
There we go. Segue.
A very odd segue to my screen share. If Jules prepared it for us, which she did.
Look at me go.
A book that is out tomorrow that's getting a ton of attention. And you could get down, there's a lot of media attention for this, been reported on television, magazines already. There's been a lot of write-ups on the betrayal of Anne Frank. And what it essentially is a very, it says right there, a cold case investigation. Essentially this retired FBI investigator, detective, got obsessed with Anne Frank and who had betrayed the family. And it apparently it was not as much a mystery as a well-kept secret. So he comes up with conclusive evidence of who it was. We had this book scheduled for, maybe to be published almost a year ago, and we pushed it back as more stuff kept coming in. So it's really current. My initial take was kind of like, wow, it's a really big, we're printing a lot of them. It's a big introductory first print run of 200,000. And I was like, wow. But the media was just, from the beginning, as soon as it was announced, was really chomping at the bit to get, bits and pieces of this book and the story. So it comes out tomorrow. A question that a lot of people have had is who and why, there's always that other question. They were betrayed and then they met their fate. But, over 30 million people have read the Diary of Anne Frank, and I bet it's probably like 100 million. So I think that's something that everybody knows and everybody can relate to. And
that was one of those when I
last night. Did you see a two-segment piece on 60 Minutes? It was riveting stuff. I was wondering who had the book, so now I know.
Yeah.
So I missed that, but it was one of those things where I just caught little bits and pieces, and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds fascinating, because it's like, who did give them up? You never really think about it.
You never think about it.
Some people do, but it's obviously but it's just like it was like, yeah, you're right. That's like.
Well, in the way they brought the modern forensics, and AI to this case is really fascinating. It's unbelievable.
I wonder if I could see the 60 Minutes thing.
You probably could online.
I
recommend
it's up there.
Yeah. It was kind of like I think it was Steve's book like last week, Aftermath.
Oh yeah.
When he talked about what Germany was like,
right? Or
the Germans. It's like you never really think about that. It's like, oh yeah, all these people. It's like, oh, I'm not a Nazi. It's just like, well, there were some of them.
Well, and with Anne Frank, it really brought home like they were in secret for 2 years, I think. So then you wonder, like, what changed? Something changed.
Something changed. Right.
And they get to that, yeah.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I didn't want to say too much, but yeah, it's really
I know I don't want to reveal what was revealed, but I'm sure the book is more
even
about
more depth.
It's even more, it's not just about the reveal, it's about
it's about the, it really is kind of, it's real pacey as the investigator keeps finding new things, new ways. Like you're saying, new ways of new forms of forensic detection
Super interesting.
that have coming around. And like I said, last minute, to the last minute, they were, writing this up and getting it printed. And I was like, oh, it's here already now. So
you got a good one. See, I told you there's good stuff coming this week. Okay, Amanda, what do you got for us?
Oh, my turn already. Wow. So quick. All right. So I've got a fun one to start off with. So this is in honor of the 60th anniversary of the band, the Rolling Stones, all the songs and the story behind every track. All 340 songs are referenced in here and done up. It includes a ton of photos, never before seen information, all kinds of fun stuff. And I thought this would just be a kind of a fun book. Comes out tomorrow. Because let's be honest, everybody loves the Rolling Stones. And I always like to listen to those little behind the scenes stories and stuff like that. So like when I listen to the radio, I love when you get that little tidbit of information. So like movies, songs, all that, I want all the details. So here we go. Very fun book coming out tomorrow. Yay.
I love books like that.
Me too. Well, yeah, you do, Tom. And you're a good concert goer too.
Yeah.
And the Stones are one of those that I was never really that big of a Stones fan. I was more the Beatles than the Stones. But if you ever get a chance to see them in concert, even to this day, they put on such a great show. And so you're right. All that behind the scenes stuff.
They're pushing 80.
I know.
I know.
And I'm thinking 60 years, that meant that in 1980, what we were listening to, that would have been stuff from like 1920s, which nobody listened to stuff from the 20s and the 70s. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
how the Beatles, 60,
still there?
65.
People still sporting all the t-shirts, still fans, you know.
And Mick Jagger, I think I saw him at Petco. Oh, now probably, well, it was probably maybe 5 years ago now. Maybe it's because I forget the pandemic.
I'm myself that I didn't go, just like they were here maybe 4 months ago, and I thought, should I go? Should I not go? I should have gone. There's no doubt.
I mean, because I kind of when David Bowie died. Sorry, we're totally digressing today. But when David Bowie died, it made me realize that it was like there were some people that I really wish I would have seen in concert, and he was one of them. Yeah. So it was kind of one of those things that I started doing. Like I went and saw Elton John. I mean, I did like the bucket list thing. It's like these guys are all getting old.
I know. I'm doing, but the one for me was Prince. Never saw Prince, and I don't know how that happened, but
he wasn't around a lot. He wasn't around a lot.
Yeah. But there were some that I really, so anyways, this role, Mick Jagger still puts on. So to bring it back to the book, Mick Jagger still has the swagger and puts on a fantastic show. So Tom, back to you.
Okay. Following up the Rolling Stones. That's not easy. So my next book out tomorrow is Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? So this is a romance from Pamela Dorman Books, who supply all the very most popular best books for a store like Warwick's. Pam publishes right into the sweet spot. So Yinka is a British Nigerian woman. She's in her 30s, very successful, Oxford educated, has a great job, great friends, and yet her mother is constantly asking her, Yinka, where is your husband? So she's got a cousin getting married, and she's finally like, okay, she's very orderly and organized, and she has an Excel spreadsheet of dates. And so she's going to find a date. She has Operation Find a Date for the wedding. And so it's all about that. And it takes you, so it's super entertaining, great voice, really incredible voice. But it's taking you into a world of Nigerian family traditional values. So it's a whole world that most of us don't know about. So Pam has done it once again. When she finds a book, when she reads it, she responds to it and then publishes it, it's going to be a book for a lot of readers. She's of course, Jojo Moyes' editor, Eleanor Oliphant, you name it. So Emily Henry calls this book modern and fresh. I adore Yinka. And I think Yinka, that's the thing. You're going to love this character of Yinka. So Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? Out tomorrow.
Love it. I can just imagine. I can just picture and hear the voices of how she's written it.
Yes, I know. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I wish I could do more of the voices, but I'm not
right.
going
But I'm curious to see on audio if they picked a good reader
I
for
bet
it
you're
for
right.
that.
Yeah.
That book sounds amazing. And I think, even it's like a Nigerian woman and her family and her culture. I think that anybody from any culture,
Can appreciate
woman
it,
in her 30s, let me tell you, I know this.
Right, exactly. Like
Right.
I wish like the very first page is husband and it's spelled HUZBA. It's like a definition, and I should be able to read this definition, but in the accent that it deserves to be read in, but it's hilarious.
but you can picture it in your brain. But that's the beauty.
Totally.
That's the beauty of reading, is like you can kind of hear it in your brain. Okay, Beth Doherty's so funny. Okay, so she said, when I said that I saw Mick Jagger at Petco Park is our baseball stadium, she thought I saw him picking up his dog food.
Now that would be a story, though, if that was the
amazing story. Oh my God.
But she actually lives in but Beth lives in Minnesota, and so Prince was her like neighborhood guy. So I think she saw him all the time. So
I'm jealous.
We're jealous. Yeah. So anyways, okay, Gabe, round 2 for you.
Round 2 is another provocative book from Harper and Jackie Michard. So Jackie Michard was at Harper a long time ago, and she didn't write for a while, and she's back with us through our Harlequin imprint, and we're really excited to have her back, writing on always kind of timely. We're getting some really good blurbs. Kristen Hanna gave us a really great blurb on the cover. Christina Baker Klein also loved this book. Jackie's a really strong writer, and she takes on privilege. She sort of twists the story, doesn't twist the story around, but gives you a big perspective on life and the many mistakes that we make. And this book hits kind of hard initially. It is a young man, great kid, loving son, 17, gets on the dope and manages to kill his girlfriend while under the influence, because he's not himself. So he goes to jail, and at like 17, but at 21, he's let out. So right away, you're into the realm. So it moves quickly to that point. And so you're quickly into the realm of, white privilege. And this young man killed somebody, and 4 years later, he's allowed to get out of jail. And that is where the book really picks up steam, and that confrontation of society's judgment, a young man who's ruined his life and killed somebody, ruined the whole entire family's life, killed somebody, is trying to make amends and can't seem to get any traction forward. And he's trying to do the right thing, but when you've committed something that horrific, can you do the right? Is there a right thing? Do you deserve to do? That all those questions come into play. So really well done in her hands. A lot of folks probably don't remember, but I think Deep End of the Ocean, Jackie's first book, was that the original Oprah pick?
It was.
I think it was.
It was.
I think that was the original Oprah pick. So, that's who Jackie Michard is in a nutshell. Rich, complex, as Kristen Hanna says. We're really excited to have her back, in a really great book. And there's a stack at Warwick's, signed stack.
Oh, are they signed?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, because I was like it was gnawing at me, so I had to Google. I forgot Deep End of the Ocean. I love that book. I mean, talk about an old book. I mean, but I love that book. A lot of people are like, it's a little tough for some people, but
yeah, she's kind of hard hitting. It doesn't seem like her, that book, but she makes you feel, boy, that Deep End of the Ocean.
Yeah, and she doesn't pull any punches. I mean, she just like lets it all go.
Yeah.
What year was Deep End of the Ocean?
89?
Yeah, I was thinking 90s.
That early?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, sorry, 96. Sorry, 96. It might have been, I don't know if this is the paperback or the hardcover. So 95, 96-ish, I guess. Sorry.
I would say on the early side of that.
I was a little dyslexic on my numbers there. Sorry about that. All right, Amanda, what do you got?
All right. So for my next one, actually, I have a paperback that's coming out tomorrow that I definitely wanted to feature. So here we go for this one. So oopsie, sorry guys. I broke it.
That's all right.
The Life of the Midnight Stars by Rayna Rosser. And like I said, this is actually a paperback. We had the hardcover come out already. And so this book is a really wonderful story. It is based on Jewish folklore and sort of based on the authors of the stories by inspired by her Russian grandparents. She kind of put that all together to create this story. And it is deep into Hungarian woods. The magic of King Solomon still is alive and well in his descendants. And they can still perform small miracles, including a rabbi and his 3 daughters. So this, again, is just a really beautiful story, really wonderful. And again, I just wanted to highlight it since it's coming out in paperback tomorrow. And it's just going to be a really great read overall. So definitely one to enjoy.
Sounds like a good one for book clubs.
Yes,
definitely.
definitely.
And paperback is always like book clubs like to wait for, a good paperback. And so
and this is definitely one of those. Got just such rich storytelling in it.
Yeah.
And I think that it just really just lends itself really well.
Is that a debut?
This one, I believe it was a debut.
Okay. All right. Cool. Love my debuts. All right. Well, we made it. Are we at lightning round already?
Lightning round. It's one of those.
Lightning round.
So we really don't. Maybe it doesn't really need to be a lightning round this time. Maybe
because we were so efficient. We were so efficient this week.
Yeah, and I've been like Jet
because our lightning rounds are so quick.
Last week we did it though.
The lightning round. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of my lightning rounds. Yeah, I've learned.
You do a good job.
I'm prepared for a quick lightning round, so I might have.
Well, we'll just go then.
All right. So Nick Petrie. So Putnam has been publishing him for 7 years. This is the 7th of the Peter Ash novels. So the new book is called The Runaway. It's out tomorrow. And he is undersung. Like the reviews are incredible. He's for Jack Reacher, Lee Child readers for sure. I mean, he delivers just like a Lee Child does. There's the main character, Peter Ash, is a ex-Marine. He suffered PTSD, but he is when he gets a hold of a case or a person and crime comes in, he's going to take care of it just like Jack Reacher. So the books have been set all around the country, mostly in Wisconsin, but the new book starts off in Nebraska, where he picks up a young woman alone, a young pregnant woman, only to find as he's doing this good deed that the woman's vicious ex-cop husband is on their trail. So it's this cat and mouse game between our hero, Peter Ash, and the crazy cop husband. And they're a match. This is a match for him. So he delivers this, Kirk has called it one hellacious ride for crime fiction fans. The New York Times in its review said, as with Jack Reacher, we know Ash will live to see another installment, but there's magic in believing he's in true danger, making his ability to prevail feel earned, not given. So if you like this kind of action thriller, you'll love The Runaway by Nick Petrie, or any of his books.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just in the mood for those, like just quick turning, but good. Yeah.
Yeah, but well done.
Got lipstick on my. Oh well. Gay, what do you got for us?
Got something very intricate and sophisticated.
Ooh.
Hoping it will fly with your audience.
You're lying to us. Oh no. Oh yeah. No, I started listening to this.
So How High We Go in the Dark from Sequoia Nagamatsu, I think he's a Bay Area writer, is a pretty stunning debut. There's a couple of things here that make you go, and at first glance, you're just like, oh man, there's a lot of these pandemic novels going on. They're on TV. There's novels coming out, and so How High We Go in the Dark to begin with is not a novel. It's a collection of stories. I keep calling it a novel because it's a collection of stories that has characters that are interlinked pretty intricately through a pretty broad period of time. And initially, the book starts off with we're just had a global crisis climate, and mankind is, you've seen how we get over the pandemic, right? So, but you know, it's a climate crisis. There's a climate plague. People are infected. People are dying. People are become nomadic. We begin with this. There's a story of an archaeologist that comes up to the Arctic Circle to finish the work of his deceased daughter, who was studying some long buried secrets. There's a talking pig in here that kind of blows your mind. It's interestingly done. But society is turned up on its head. Excuse me. There's a theme park for terminally ill children. He just sort of, he makes this, it's satire, but it's not like Jonathan Swift's satire. It's a little more, it's not funny satire. And I don't know quite what to call that, but it's brilliantly done. I think fans of David Mitchell, George Saunders will come to this pretty easily. I think it is a book that's going to make you think. It is a book that is really inventive and creative. I'm not a huge sci-fi or fantasy reader, but I do like speculative fiction. And I think this is one of those collections that it's getting some real good attention from reviewers. It is not something that's super easy to get into, and ooh, look how much fun we're having. But you're glued to you just want to go on to the next story and see what's happening, and the way the characters are connected through, again, I said, this expanse of time. You know, from funerals to skyscrapers, everything is covered. Things you wouldn't even think of are flowing through Nagamatsu's head. So really involved. Ultimately, it is a lot of fun in that it is one of those books that gets your brain going and working in a lot of different directions, you know.
But exactly what I think you described it well in saying that it's not like, oh, it's this funny. It's not a Kevin Wilson kind of, but it's sort of, but he makes you think like Kevin Wilson kind of does. But it's still it's really good. What I've listened to it, I've only got maybe got a fourth.
Yeah, and we got a nice Kevin Wilson quote that I had up. And
yeah, that's what I saw.
Think, that I, you know, and it's kind of like a not so, because Kevin Wilson does what he does really well.
Correct.
But yeah, they're different. I think different ends of the spectrum, because it's like, wow, he does.
But they both make you think about things.
Yeah.
But this one is way more intricate and a little more. I like your David Mitchell.
Yeah, I think that's a good comp.
I don't know the writer. Should I know? Is this?
I think it's a debut.
It's a debut.
Oh.
Yeah. But you will hear of him again.
I think so too, and it is one of those that I've been seeing a lot, like just in the different people are coming to it. Yeah.
Killer name.
I know. I love it. Sequoia what? Yeah.
Nagamatsu.
Love it. All right, Amanda.
Last one. All right. Hopefully I don't break it again. Ta-da! Last book I have is Believe in Yourself, What We Learned from Arthur by Mark Brown. I, like everybody else, loves Arthur, love the little TV series, all the books that have come with Arthur. And so this is perfect for any fan. It's just basically quotes and life lessons that we have learned from our beloved Arthur. So it is just really fun. The 45th anniversary of the book series and the 25th anniversary of the TV series, which that's crazy, but yes.
God.
Yeah, I remember watching Arthur as a little kid myself, loved it. So that's what it's gonna have inside of it. So 128 pages. So this is going to be a nice hefty book with lots of little fun things that we have learned from Arthur. And I love seeing little Arthur memes still now with like little things that he does and stuff. And so yes, definitely one to love. I love Arthur.
Probably a good little gift book, it looks like it would be.
Little graduation present.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect graduation present. Okay, I'm going to just share a little bit about some events because that's what I do. And like I said, some of the stuff that I'm reading is not coming out till a little bit later. So we've got tonight, if you're not doing anything in an hour and a half, come join us back here on Facebook because we've got Jeff T. Jefferson Parker.
Love Jeff.
With CJ Box, which I think that'll be a really good conversation. And this book takes place up in Laguna Beach, kind of the 68 counterculture, psychedelic.
I like when
drugs.
Jeff goes back in time. He does really good historical stuff of Southern California. His first book, Laguna Heat, I love.
Yeah. And so this kind of goes back to that with a little, he brings in the detective. I mean, he does what Jeff does, but I love this. So can't wait for that. And then look who we're January 29th, Isabel Allende. So you can get to see her. She, I think, had to cancel her live event. So we got lucky and got to jump in on a virtual event with her. And then Deepak, always love hosting Deepak. So we've got a virtual event with a meditation with him. And then next week and the week after, we've got some great things. These are all, I think, except for this one's in the store. I think the rest of them are all virtual. I finished this and loved this. So if you're not doing anything on Wednesday, the 26th, join us because this is going to be a hoot of a conversation.
After seeing your quote and hearing you last week, I read the first 100 pages, and I will finish. It is wild.
It's wild, right? It's just like, I equated to it's like Succession meets Single White Female meets like just crazy. Okay, it's just
in the most entertaining way.
In the most entertaining way, but you know what's really interesting though? But she does tackle in that like homelessness in Los Angeles and how the class structure is, and invisibility versus. I mean, it is bonkers though. I mean, it in the best way. The best way. I was completely entertained for the entire time I read it, and it helped me because for me sometimes those books, sometimes the endings fall apart.
Oh, so that's good to know because I'm not there yet. So
yeah, because sometimes it's like you go along and it's like you can see that they kind of wrote themselves in and you kind of go, oh, you kind of holds up to the end. Holds up to the end, but it's bonkers, right?
Yes,
completely insane. And the ultra rich, I don't know if anybody's ever watched Success, but the ultra rich, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't even realize it was like quite as I mean, I'm thinking it's like psychotic kind of.
We don't want you to know, Jules. I mean, they don't want you to know.
Yeah, I like the we on that. All right, everybody. Another great week, another good week of recommendations. Thank you for joining us, like I said, on a holiday here. So come and see some of our virtual events. Joey Day is going to now be virtual. He was going to come to the store, but Joe's going to, we're popping that to a virtual. So that's going to be with Jennifer Thompson. So I can't wait for that one too in early February. So stay safe, everybody. Stay well. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.